G'day everybody, welcome to another week. Craig Cobb here from TRADERCOBB.com. This is proudly brought to you by FTX, and we're going to do a full FTX perpetual scan. Now, of course, if you don't have a trading account with FTX, well, then you should click the description below and get 10% off your trading fees. Okay, g'day Bobby. And hello to everybody out there. If you're watching this, please do give it a like and share it. Do what you got to do. Help us out. It would be much appreciated. And last week we saw a bit of a nice move in the market, didn't we? And we pushed through again. We pulled back, and we'll have a look at what this all potentially could mean. But at the end of the day, let's have a look at the end of the week, not the end of the day. The end of the week, we closed up 5.42%. Whilst we did see some much stronger moves in our crypto market, notably Doge, we do have a bullish week here on Bitcoin. We've seen some decent moves throughout the entire top 10. XRP being an exception, they didn't do a great deal, but there were some good moves. Now, the fact of the matter is that we still have pressure to our downside. There's no escaping it. All right, it is what it is. We don't have, we haven't pushed up through this level. We haven't pushed up through this level. These are our clear lower highs. Here's a lower high. Here's another lower high here. There was a slight one here, but it was very, very small and brief. These are much more clear to me. We could be coming to set another one here. I really hope not. I hope to see the momentum that we've carried last week into another week. Obviously, the week before only up slightly. So let's have a look at Bitcoin here on our... Well, actually, I want to have a look at the monthly as well, because we are on the last day of the month. 5.88% up for the month of October. And a lot of people, I did see a lot of tweets and messages and posts and whatnot out there about October being Uptober, I think they were saying. But clearly that has not been the case. Sure, it's slightly up. It's up 5.9%, but that is not really what they were looking for. And what we've got here now with Bitcoin is we do in fact have an uptrend. It's very weak right now. Look, we go lower high to low, then we go high. Little pullback here for a higher low, slightly higher high. Is that strong? No, it is not strong at this moment in time. In fact, we've actually come up, pushed to a new high, and since then we sold off yesterday and a little bit down so far today, down 0.33%. What does it mean? Well, look, it just simply means in my eyes at this moment that we just don't have... I would have liked to have seen this continue higher, just to keep running, to give us more opportunity for good trends. And we will find some good trends out there. But if I show you the 4-hour here on Bitcoin, you'll see what I mean. We pulled back in. We saw a really good run up. We pulled back in. We pushed up, made a new high, and then we've been weak again. Becomes very clear and apparent on the 8-hour here as well, with the higher low to higher high, only just, and now pulling back. What I'd really like to see this week would be for the market to sit in here, or just bounce from here. It doesn't just sit there. It can just go from here to pushing on to new higher highs, heading us up around, above 21,600 would be really ideal to really take out these highs and set ourselves a bit more momentum with it. That being said, I'm going to go back to the daily here. One of the things I'm slightly concerned about is what Bitcoin has done after it has had a run in previous times. Have a look. We've gone up, very deep pullback, up, very deep pullback, up, very deep pullback, messy, and then we start our downtrend again. We go back up, then we come back down. And we've been very messy for the space of, basically, September and October have been fairly messy months as far as chart structure and trading performance goes based on the charts. So it would be nice to see this carry through more than just a few days, because still, if you look at this chart, it is dominated basically by two candles. It was the 25th and the 26th were the 2 days where things happened. They happened very, very quickly, as you saw on this 4-hour. Just these two candles pretty much captured the majority of the move, followed by a few more that sort of chugged along. We haven't seen that strength of buying come back in after our pullback, and that's the concern that I hold at the moment. So with all that being said, excuse me, let's go ahead and have a look at what we've got in our list, because we have had some good performing moves, and the 8-hour, the high timeframes have come back into play. And it's really nice to see that. When the higher timeframes start to trend, it means that we've got some sustained buying. And we haven't had that for such a long time. And there have been trading opportunities. You've just had to be on the lower time frame. So you can see cyclicity here pulling in. Nice push to a new higher high. Still some resistance up around these regions. To push through there would be a very, very welcome sign. Putting a new higher low and really getting this thing moving. But there's nothing there for me on 1 inch just yet. Abe's still very sideways. There's not much to really speak of there. Cardano. Well, it raced up as hard as it fell down. You know, we saw this breakout a little while ago. Boof, we fell very, very, very hard. Since then, we've, of course, seen a very strong rally from those lows. You can see to our high, we moved a good 30-odd%. But again, we find this resistance being too powerful to close above, and we're sort of dwindling or dawdling a little bit there as we come into it. Again, I'll go to the 8 hour here. Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't want to be trading this while we've got that resistance ahead of us at this stage, and I'm looking for better structure of the chart, better cyclicity. Adventure Gold has a higher low here and a higher high on the daily. It's a very strong run straight up, but not too much just yet. The 8 hour, sadly, kind of a little higher low there. Then we go low to high, so that rules that out. I'm going to go past Adventure Gold. ALCX, the only option maybe... it's not much of a level, to be fair. And it looks a little bit thin, so I will leave that for now. Okay, Algo. This was one I was looking at last week. I'm going to take it out for now and see if we end up putting it back in. We've got a good higher low here. This is the sort of market that I like to see. This is the sort of trend that I like to see. We've got a deep higher low. Then we've got another nice one over here to pushing onto a very strong run higher on Algo. Really, really nice move there. Let's see if we can go lower and find some good cyclicity. But it looks a little bit, ratty, to be honest. Yeah, whilst there's momentum, it's been happening in big coughs and splutters. So it's not really, at this time, going to give me anything that's really that worthy. Possibly the 8 hour if it did pull back in, but it's got a fair bit of work to do to play out there yet. So I'm going to leave that behind. Straight away, Alice will go to the 8. If I had a bullish candle down in here, I might be able to go for that. There's a 16 hour high or low just. But right now, again, it's got quite a ways to go. This was a nice little cradle back in here that's moved quite well. I was saying the Discord raised orders on AVAX 8 hour. I regret my decision, though, because I had a big one yesterday. Bit hungover today, Bobby. Hope the christening went well. Let's keep going with Alpha. Nothing there. Alt Perp. Now, here's a nice pullback, and obviously a very strong run there on Alt Perp last week. Let's look at the 8. It's not really pulled in very far. It's just it's a big move. Look at this off this low here. Oh, it just looks massive. 36%. Obviously, 36% is a lot, but it just looks huge compared to when you look at the daily here, doesn't it? There's a little blip there for the lower high, so that would sort of rule out these cradles here. So I'm going to go past Alt Perp. It's not really giving me what I was hopeful for. The 8 hour, not deep enough at this stage. If it was in here, I would reconsider, but it's not, so we'll move on. It's sort of run off a little bit too hard there. Ape. Bit of resistance ahead. A bit of an average pullback. It's not. There's a trend. But again, I don't like it when it's just dominated by a single candle. I like to see it carry through, which it has done here on the 4, but it's gotten very messy. I'm going to go past it. Same with Arweave. I'm going to go past that. Ascendex. The problem we've got with Ascendex is it is quite a thinly traded market. If you have a look here in the 15, look, that's showing me low liquidity, which means I could take on more slippage, which can, it's not a good thing. Atlas. Again, a little bit caught up in here. It really hasn't extended itself as much as some of the other markets have. Atom, let's have a deeper dive into Atom here and see maybe if the lowers can give us a little bit of a workable trend up there. Ooh, at this stage, yes, we do have a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, but it's got to clean itself up a little bit. It's not smooth enough for me at this moment in time. I am looking for those really good cyclical trends. That bouncing ball that I speak of quite frequently. Ooh, hang on, what have we got here on the 8? Let's investigate this daily a little bit more first. Higher, low, higher, high. It's in a daily uptrend. Okay, that's all I really wanted to see. Is there anything really stopping? There's a little bit there, but it's pushed through it, pulled back. Ooh. This is the level that I'm sort of looking at through here. It's not a perfect, precise level, but we can see it as a resistance region. Support through here. A bit of resistance there. There's a whole region of it, isn't there, really? Look, whilst it's not a perfect level and it has pushed through, it did pull straight back in instantly after. Combining that with, well, there is a 16-hour trend there, there's no doubt. The 8-hour here, look, in all honesty, when I zoom in a bit, it's not the smallest of candles. It's not a huge candle. It's not a very good candle. If there was a bullish candle down here, perhaps, but I still have to contend with that potential resistance coming up. With those things all combined, I think I'll just hold back a little bit here on Audius and see if it can't set up in the next few days on a deeper pullback. AVAX. Now, this is a nice looking little trend here. Look, nice clean pullback, move, pullback, move, pullback. The 8 hours right there. It's a nice candle in the cradle. It's on the high side, but that's fine. It's off around number of $18 as well. And the 16-hour, will we see a trend here? There is a higher low here. Not the clearest, but it is there. We do have that pullback. The problem that I've got now, of course, is that it's already triggered. If one was to take that, they should already be filled in that position. So I can't put that in the list right now. Let's move to the next. Axie. Looks ugly. Badger, the same. Balance up. Appears to be losing a little bit of momentum up there at the moment. We did pull back in for a nice little cradle. You would have pulled one-to-one out of that. Now it's pulled back in again. It does look like it's losing some momentum. It is divergent. It is not going to factor into my list for those reasons. Actually, one more thing. I'll just have a quick look here. I'm just seeing if there might have been a little level there for those that have done the Become a Master course. Band. Okay, so here's a nice pullback in. The 4 hour gets a bit funky here, but it's not too bad. The 8 probably absorbs that a little bit better, and there it is. Yes, that's a nice little pullback there on Band. Once again, that's a trade that would have triggered this morning. If you're on live trading floor, I'm sure that Lou was pointing these out as he went through, because this is a really nice trend. This is the bouncing ball sort of thing I'm looking for. Of course, the trade is already triggered if one was to have been early enough to it this morning. Leaving BAT, Bitcoin Cash is back in the zone. Here was a nice pullback to the old resistance that acted as support, which is why I teach that. And you can see it's had a pretty decent looking move there. Again, really nice cyclicity. In fact, this has got such a nice trend that what I would like to see is this candle to close down here and then the next candle to have a small bullish one. I'm going to set this into a watch list, and we're going to go for this little pinky color today because I know that there's nothing else in there. Really nice looking 8 hour trend there on Bitcoin Cash. Is there any time frame that does give us anything? I don't think so. Not really. Nope. Wait for that to see if we get a little bullish candle in there will be my play. Nothing there on BitTime. Really nice push through there on Binance. Back above $300 for what seems like the first time in a very long time from back here in August. What's that up there? Bit of resistance coming up ahead. Good, strong move. Oops, let's go lower. Look at that. Ugh. Wasn't the cleanest of pullbacks, but it was there. 11 o'clock Friday night, I was asleep. How about lower? Nothing really in there lower. I mean, look, the reality is if I got a pullback clean into 300 or around this area, I'd be very, very interested indeed. But it's going to take quite the depth of pullback and quite some time considering we're all the way up here. So it won't factor into my list just yet. Perhaps if we do see some selling today come in, I might re-engage with it later on this afternoon. I can leave BNT, Boba, what's that got going there? I'll leave that. BSV's been doing very little for a very long time. BTT is too thin. Ooh. There is a pullback here, but I don't know if we're going to see anything on the 16. That's my concern. Yeah, look, we need to have the 8 backed up. You know, if I'm looking at an 8 hour cradle, I need to have the 16 matched with it. We just don't have that, so I can go past it. Cake, that's a nice looking trend. It's going to get ugly lower, I think. Yeah, a bit messy lower. How about higher? I like the trend. A couple of higher lows. It's just a matter of what time frame would I look to trade it on. I could look for a position on the 4 hour. I'm going to put that into the list. I don't know if it'll be the 4 or the 8, but I'll wait and see how that goes, considering we've still got to pull back a little bit more before that becomes something that I would trade, but it does have a nice trend. Sideways Celsius, Chromia, I can leave as well. compound's a bit messy. CRO, right EO. Oof. Geez, it's ripping around everywhere, isn't it? Look at these big zings everywhere. Not a huge fan of that. Was more interested in it when I was over here on the 8 hour, but the candle became too big. Now I think it's just a bit messy. Yeah, look at it. It's just smashing out random big candles. I'm not interested in that sort of market. I want something that's nice and cyclical. And if you're watching it, guys, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't, so you know when we've got these videos coming up. Whenever we go live. Dash still very sideways. Dawn the same play here. Now a lot of the market did see some sustained strong moves during the week, but there's also, I feel like, an equal share that did not. Looking at DeFi per, look, we ran into this resistance. We did go above, but we've instantly come back inside. I want to see trades off of that level. Now we could still see that. Nice higher lows, nice bit of trend. If we go from here and we move higher again, a pullback into that level could still be on the cards. It's a while away. It's not going to make my list. Dent. Check that 16. Yeah, there is a trend there, but there's quick shot up, pull back, good move, just taking out the highs. It's okay. Just there's something about this that's sort of holding me back a little bit. I think it's just the way that we've not taken these highs out all that well. It's not, can't put my finger on it, but I'm not going to put it in because if it's not clear for me, it's not there. And here's the mover of the week. Doge, which I assume that's because Elon Musk purchased Twitter, 95% last week. Wow. But at one stage, it was up 150%. Wow. Amazing, huh? It's amazing. Doge is known for doing this. It has had some very big, strong moves, and it broke out through resistance and just took off, didn't it? What options did we have? Well, not a great deal, to be fair, because the volatility has just been so extreme, and the buying came in such, like, it just was fierce. You know, look at that. It's a 15% candle on a 1 hour chart. I am happy to trade with these liquidity pairs that just start to pick up momentum. I've got no problem with doing that at all. It's just right now we don't have too much to really work with our overextension on many time frames, and you can see the daily, like it's just had a roaring run higher. So for now, it will be left. DOT still, it's above $6.50, which is the old support that was running through here for a long time and acted as resistance, but I'd like to see it step out. Again, you can see it up here, a little bit caught. This next stage of the market is a really big one for us. You know, if we can step out, legging ourselves up again, it'll be the longest sustained buying we've seen in quite some time. It could trigger an awful lot of newcomers or an awful lot more interest in the market again, which we haven't seen for months. Was saying in live trading for this morning that Doge had more volume on FTX PERP than BTC in the last 24 hours. Wow. That is big. Well, Neo, if you want to do that, mate, as I said in the description below, you get 10% off your trading fees there, buddy. Use that link. Okay, so DYDX. There's definite momentum. We cannot deny the momentum that is actually there. It's not the greatest trend on the daily. Let's have a look at what we can find in here on the 8. A little bit messy in there. Maybe we go to the 12. It might smooth it out a bit more. What time frame would I like the most here? Probably the 12, honestly. Look, that spike up was a bit enthusiastic. If it pulls back in a little bit deeper, then yes. And again, what the focus is currently is just focusing on where the trends are at their best. That's the way I trade. And at the moment, it seems to be those 8 hour and higher that are really providing the options. That could change at any minute. Bit of a trend moving through here. Oh, it's a bit messy again, though. See, these sorts of candles just sort of muddy the waters so much. If we had have just come into here and then stepped out, it would have been a different story. Engine, we'll check that 8. Again, not a great deal there for us. There is a trend, but one of the things about trading the higher timeframes is that you've got so much more time because your candles close after 8 hours or 12 hours or whatever, so you get to see them set up over a large period of time, opening the door for you to really do your analysis correctly. Have your checklist next to you, work through those checklists and make sure you're getting the right moves. Here's something that I'm noticing quite a bit at the moment. Okay, so a lot of these pairs that have had support in the past have broke. As we run back up into those levels, they've acted as resistance and the market has come off. Now, we've seen it multiple times in this scan already, and it seems to be a theme. We're struggling at the first point of resistance. There's no resistance through here. We go bang, straight into it and sell straight back off. Let's hope that the market can pick itself back up before it ruins these trends like it has done here, more or less on Ethereum Classic. We want consistency. We want momentum. Oh, sorry, I got such an itchy nose. I'm sorry. We want consistency and momentum. One thing that I can point out right away here, I know that people will see this little bullish candle in the cradle zone and go, oh, that could be a trade. Well, that's why we have rules. Look at the MACD. As price made new highs, the MACD did not. Therefore, it is divergent, which means I won't be trading Ethereum on the 4-hour. Okay, let's keep going. Exchange perp. Ooh, okay. Back to the 8. I don't mind it, but it needs to come in deeper. I don't really want it up here. And look, when I'm looking at these trends, I'm trying to find the time frame that represents the trend the smoothest. If you look at this 4-hour, yeah, we've got a pullback. It's a very deep pullback. If you look at the 8, look at how clean this is now. Clearly we pull back in, move again. A pullback into here on the 8, it's going to take some time. And this may be a watch list that spans over into tomorrow yet, if the market does not get back into our areas quickly or back into that cradle zone quickly. Files pull back too deep. Flamingos just in a steady grind. Flow. It's an ugly pullback in here. A couple of little ones. I'm not sure the 16 is going to be that. Well, okay, there is a pullback. Is there any reason not to have this in the list? Is there a little level starting to form? Not really, no. Bit of a resistance region through here. So I'm sort of questioning, would I trade that candle? Would I raise an order on that candle? I haven't yet, so the answer is probably no. For me, at the moment, I'm waiting to see, or just taking the very best trades that stand out to me. Here was one from last week that was in my list to pull back into this level. Now, of course, it went a little bit deeper, but didn't it have a good run out of there? Just a lot of volatility up here at the moment. Muddying the waters slightly. You can see here, we've got this, we shoot up, deep pullback, then we shoot back up again. I want to see a little bit more cyclicity in the market than what I'm seeing there on Phantom. It's a little bit too hectic right now. FTT has had a move back up from $22 to around 26. Let's see the 8. The 8 looks fine. The 8 to be workable would need to pull back into this zone here. Look, I'm going to put this in because, again, it's going to take some time. And it's not like I'm going to be stressed out looking through this list at the moment, given that it is majority higher time frames. I think so far all higher time frames. Not loving FXS quite as much. Geez, that's a big day. 20% on Gala. Nothing to work with there, though. Again, I'll be walking past that. GLMR, no. GMT. There's a trend, but it's not the greatest for me. I'll be leaving that. Still a bit sideways. This is very sideways on GST. Hedera, not doing much there either. Downward pressure starting to creep in on some of these pairs. Holy, again, very, very thinly traded. I don't want to be trading a chart that looks like that. Not enough liquidity there for me at the moment. Hot is right there. Is there a level maybe forming up there for those that know? Not really at this stage. Again, I can go past it. That was a little level I was looking for a short on Friday or Thursday. Get rid of that. I'll also get rid of that breakout. It seems to work pretty well with breakouts, this thing, doesn't it? but a bit, no thank you. There's not much of a trend there for me to work with, so therefore I'll go past it. ICP, that could be an 8-hour cradle right there. Let's have a look. Indeed it is. Well, that ain't bad. Clear higher low, higher high, push on, good convergence, really nice looking MACD here. A nice bullish candle in that cradle zone still available. Let's just double check that 16, which will look nice with a pullback here. So yeah, I'm good with that. What's a 12 look like? Nah, it's the 8. That's going in the list. ICP is certainly there for us at the moment. Any level building, what could do. For those that know the breakout and how to combine it with with the cradle, it'd be worthwhile keeping an eye on that level as well. But for the time being, that 8-hour is right there, ready to rumble for those that want it. IACX, immutable X, it pulled back, it moved a little bit, and then it fell off again, struggling once again with an old level that goes back some way. You can see that there. It's come into it, but it's struggled. I'm not that keen on that level. It's been broken a few times now, but still it is struggling there. Nothing there on IOST or IOTA. Jasmine with a quick pump up, followed by a quick sell down. I'll have a look here, but the problem that I have with this particular pair, can you guess? Liquidity. So we do see during periods of inactivity, obviously liquidity levels drop, volumes drop. And therefore what we have to do is we just got to make sure that we maintain a very keen eye on where liquidity lies. When we have a stronger market or even a weak market where the market's falling hard and lots of people are active and they're selling, that's okay because there's still liquidity available. We want to keep an eye on making sure that we're trading charts that do have a good, strong source of liquidity. Take that fib out. I was stalking this on the 8-hour last week, and sadly, that candle got a bit big. If it was a small candle, this was the trade that I was after. I'll get rid of that level now. There is nothing there of interest on LDO for me at this moment in time. Go past Lena. Oh, sorry, what is it? Leo. Onto Lena. Yeah, it's not ideal. There's a little pullback here. It's a very deep one that we've got now. How about the 12? And the problem that I have really is that we do have some pullbacks, but they're not very clear, and I think we won't see anything on the daily. Well, we do have a high low over here. I'm just having to sort of dig around a lot here on Lena. I want it to stand out a little bit clearer to me. I'm not seeing it. We've gone high, low on the 4, high, and then we've come off. I'm going to take away this level, and I'm going to move away from Lena. Back to Link, nothing there. Looks rare, still needs to get moving. So too does Loopring. Litecoin. This one was in from last week as well. Pulled back in deep, big candle. It did have a move. It failed to take out those highs. And we are seeing that on many of these markets at the moment. And that's why I'm taking Litecoin out. I want to see markets sort of pushed above those highs that still have their trends in order and working. Mana. Clean pullback. Nice move. Pull back in. Old level. It's just a little bit, I mean, look at we shoot up. We come straight back down. It's just looking a little bit messy up there. Just trying to find, is there anything here that I would be keen on? Because where it's at is where I would want to be trading it from, back off of this old level, definitely. But it's just not quite like, if it had come in a bit slower, I'm tossing and turning with that. I'm going to put it in the list and I'll see just how that candle ends up closing. Because if it closes down here and we get a little bullish, there are some outcomes for which I may decide to trade that, but they've got to eventuate. They're not ready just yet. Matic rolling back over, probably best on the daily if it pulled back into this level here for a bullish candle there, but we're going to have to wait a little while for that by the look of things. How much was that up yesterday? 6%, right. Very thinly traded once again, that media contract. Mid perp, I'll be leaving that for now. Needs to come in a little bit further. Oh, what have we got here? Mina. Definite momentum. Higher low, higher high. Clear as day. Got a little bit out of control, a bit wild, bit of a pump, but that's okay. Just trying to work out. Well, let's check that 16. There is a higher low in here. It's just gotten a bit wild, hasn't it? Whilst there is a trend, I wouldn't be raising an order on this one personally. I'd probably hope to see it pull back in a little bit further. With that being the case, I'm going to let that ride for the rest of the afternoon, do a scan later on and see if it makes its way into the list then. Excuse me. Metal, another one. We pulled back in. We moved back into the highs. Now we've got that as resistance. We sold off again. We really need to see this market push through again. Otherwise, we're very likely, excuse me, very likely to go back into what we've been dealing with for the last couple of months, which is a pretty messy market where we're dominated by the lower time frames because that's where the trends are. MVDA got a lot of work to do to get back in. I'm going to leave that for now. It's still got a fair bit to do to give me a trade. The same here for its bigger brother. Cheers, Bobby. Take it easy, mate. Yeah, if we pull back in further in here, I'd be interested. And this is one of the things, as I said earlier, when we're trading the higher time frames, because that's where the trends are predominantly there, we're going to have to give it a little bit more time and be very aware when your candles close. So if you're not used to looking at the 8-hour candles and you don't know when they close, put your crosshair over the candle currently and then move it to the next one. And it will tell you when that candle will open. So that's going to be at 7 o'clock tonight. And then the next one, I think, is at 3 o'clock in the morning. Is that right? Yes, 3 o'clock in the morning, my time. So just be aware, of course, I wouldn't be jumping out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning just to check my watch list. But I would first thing in the morning go back and check that list and see if there's anything there that is set up because of the higher time frames. We might actually see some great opportunities first thing tomorrow morning, as we did see a couple of nice ones this morning for those that were around for live trading floor in the community. By the way, just a note on the community, there is a free Discord group in there now as well on Discord, on our Discord. I believe that we do have the link in our description here below as well. So go ahead and join that. We run webinars, we get involved, we post trading related material, and of course you can ask any questions in there that involve the Become a Trader course. So we're there to help. I actually thought we'd find a lot more than what I'm seeing right now, just by looking at some of the earlier, like the top 10 mark moves, because there were some good ones there. Here's something a bit better. Clear pullback, move on. There is a pullback. There's, the 16 does back up our 8 hour. Just taking out these highs, it's not looking. I'm going to leave it because if I get a little bullish candle here, my stop's going to go here anyway. So I need that to close down there, then the next candle to open up, which is going to take an awful lot of time. Of course, the next tradable opportunity there in the earliest possible time frame would be 3 a.m. and I won't be there for that. So I'm always trying to put into my list markets that I might actually get a shot at taking a trade on, which will more than likely be at 7 p.m. tonight on a number of these contracts. Okay, Ren. With resistance so close and not the greatest. I mean, there is a trend, but it's not the best. I will be leaving Ren. This thing's a bit scrappy up the top there. Ron, not quite. Rose. Let's have a look here. So this was probably the most optimal out of the list that I had on Friday. A little small enough bullish candle right there. Would have got a nice little move out of it. Probably still in at this stage as it stands right now. Is it something that I will be trading? No, I'm not looking to raise any orders with the current price as it is. If you are either in from Friday or you wait longer. It's a shame this 4 hours not come in a little bit more and slow down a wee bit more, because it's a nice trend. Yeah, it's got to come back in. It's not doing that, so I've got to go past it. Really nice to see some upside momentum here, isn't it? Ooh, what about here? Nothing there. Okay. But we just, again, you know, the market goes up. It's good for all of our portfolios, right? We know that. But we still need to see some of these trends get a little bit more locked in for us. Synthetics, again, just taking out the highs. We're in the right spot there, though. Look, I'll keep an eye on that. If we get a small bullish candle in there over the next candle or so, that could be something that that gets close. We'll wait and see how it goes. Again, with still more time to take, we've got the time we've got the time to take our time. Not the smallest candle there. Solana was in there from last week. I'll take that back out. Yuck. Spell's a bit of a mess. Serum. A little bit of a run last week. Pulling back now. Not a great looking chart if I'm honest. Same with Step. Storage, not very pretty. I'll get rid of that level. It's no longer got any relevance for me. Sorry if I'm sounding a little bit flat there, ladies and gentlemen. I've just been, yesterday, spent most of the day in bed with my bloody chronic fatigue, and still lingering today. So a little bit on the exhausted side coming into the back end of this scan, because believe it or not, doing these things, it actually does take quite a bit of energy. You're thinking, you're looking, you're commenting on things. It's a constant brain bashing. What about here? Swipe. Again, with that spike down, it's probably not optimal for me. I'm going to start this week off on a patient note by the look of it, forced by the market. Tomo. Ah, what a shame. That candle's just too big. If we had a small little bullish candle there, that would have been fantastic. That's what I was waiting for. Didn't get it. Take it out of the list. Moving along. We've got Toncoin here on the daily. The unfortunate thing that we're going to have, well, there's a couple of unfortunate things. One, it's a pretty large candle. Two, there's no 2-day trend. So, of course, we need to have the next higher time frame from the trigger chart, which would be here on the daily. The next higher time frame needs to actually have a trend there as well. Nah, I'm not really interested in that. True's a bit of a mess. Tron, another one that's come up, run into an old resistance level and is now selling off. It seems to be market wide at the moment, where if there was resistance above, we are stopping at that resistance and we are coming back from there. Again, we pulled back in. Really nice. Uniswap. Really nice pullback, but just taking out those highs. What we need now is we need to reset this trend. We've got the higher low potentially there. We need this market to run higher. We get that, we're going to see a lot more opportunities start to come back in again. Seems to have slowed down quite significantly with yesterday's little pullback. We are going a little bit slower. The momentum has slowed down for the buyers. So we need to be, well, we just need to wait to see what comes next, because it could very well just go back into our downward momentum again, in which case we have to shift and wait for our trends to become something real again. And it's just a bit of a sorry state of affairs, to be honest. What's that candle? A bit wild. Nothing there. Nothing there. Zcash, again, we pushed through, pull back deep, failed to get through the old highs. We want to see those highs being taken out. We need to see more follow through. Without that follow through, we're not going to have much to work with. Chile's doing exactly that. Yesterday, 15%. Today, another 4% so far. Let's go lower and see if we've got any decent trends. It doesn't appear to be so. Straight candles, bam, 10%, bam, 4%. That's not really where good cyclicity comes from. That being said, the 8 looks decent. And this is what I think it was on Yearn before, possibly. I said before, we need to see it do this. This is what we want the market to do. Chile's has done it. We need the rest of the market, with this little pullback it's having, to now push on through to reset those trends and continue with that momentum. Now, whilst this is in an uptrend and it's workable for a trade back in the cradle zone here, it's got a long time to get back into there for it to work out for me. So it's not going to factor into the list just yet. And the same can be said for the 4. Okay, we'll take that one out of that list. And let's go ahead and have a look at what we have got. It's not as much as I thought we'd get, but it's a pretty decent looking list. A lot of waiting is required, however. So Bitcoin Cash, the first in our list, a little bullish candle. I'd like this to sell off to about here, and then the next candle You know, the 7 o'clock, which we can raise an order at 3 a.m. if you're around, or possibly we'll get lucky tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. when I do my live trading floor scan. We may be able to get a little cradle there. But Bitcoin Cash, one of the nicest 8-hour trends out there. Cake. We're looking at this on the 8-hour as well. This comes back into here. We've got very nice higher lows. That could give us a very nice opportunity coming later on in the evening. I'm not so interested on the 4. I believe it's the 8 and a couple more candles, possibly tomorrow morning there. DYDX. See you later, James Fowler. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. DYDX. No. Kind of like the 12. The daily's got a little wee pullback. I kind of like this 12. A little bullish candle in there would be quite decent, to be fair. It's got nice. This chart structure looks pretty decent on the 12. I'm going to stick with the 12 there. Another higher time frame that we're going to be watching. Exchange PERP. It's got the trend. It's got to come in further, though. It's going to take a little while, but it's got to do it. Don't forget as well, if we did see the market start to move higher today, what I've currently got now is based on what the charts are providing for me. What the charts are providing are higher time frame trends. If we start to see those lower time frames get some cyclicity, I'm back onto those and I'm away. FTT, a pullback into this cradle zone is what I'm waiting for. ICP, well, here is a candle right there in the cradle zone. If you know the rules, go through your rules, see if you like that. For those that also have done the Bitcoin breakout strategy, keep an eye on this level to see if it builds in, because that might give another opportunity. On to Mana next. I'm just seeing what this does around these levels. There's nothing more. We've got old support. We've pushed up through it. This is the first pullback in. If I get something that resembles a nice opportunity for me, I will be looking to take that. It needs to. We've still got quite some time before we can actually consider that, though. So again, a long time off. And synthetics in here, a little bullish candle that could pop on this particular candle, which means that would be the 7 o'clock time frame, which you'd need to be raising your order. That could, if it sets a small bullish candle, be something else that I like, as we do have a decent trend there. So whilst we don't have a huge list right now, it's the higher time frames for which we do have the list. So if you've got plenty of things to be doing today, then I think you should go and get those done, knowing at the moment that unless we see this market bounce higher, it's going to be the higher time frames, and that's going to more than likely be about 7 o'clock this evening on Australian Eastern Standard Time. I don't know, we've got daylight savings now. I think it's still, or maybe it's Australian summertime. Anyway, you get the gist. I hope you have a fantastic day. Welcome back to the week. Nice to see last week with some momentum, but please, oh please, oh please, can we keep it for this week? Because if we do keep that, we're going to have an awful lot of trading opportunities. This is brought to you by FTX. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. We've got a free Discord group for anybody that wants to get involved in the description below, as well as a free course. Become a trader, let your friends know, get involved and learn about how to trade the markets. 10% off your trading fees on FTX and the link below. Also, have a great day, and let's kick the week off on a positive note. Please move higher, market. Take care. Bye for now.